Welcome back, guys. Today I have myself present along with our Vice President of the Student Government here at Galen University. Today is going to be pretty fun, exciting. We're going to be talking about what's dating like here at university level. So, welcome to the Galen Eagle Podcast, Student Summer Series, Episode 3. So today I'm going to be your host, Marissa Cervantes, Anthropology major here at Galen University. And alongside me is my co-host,
Enya, Lizama, a fellow major of Anthropology, and a minor in criminal justice.
So today we're going to be talking about dating and of course what it's been like for myself and Enya. So I know Enya had mentioned earlier she don't like people, but people like she, so we need to know. We need to know, folks. What are your expectations when in a relationship?
Well, personally for me, one of the first things I rely on in a relationship is trust and loyalty, first and foremost. University life is very new, especially when coming in fresh off high school or junior college, and you see a lot of people, if you're like me, coming from an all-girls Catholic high school, you see a lot of males, and they're just like, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, count them. So it's very interesting to see, how the dynamic changes when you're thrown into a university classroom with males and females and how everyone, interacts with each other. Sometimes you're nervous, sometimes you're very, very outgoing. Mar, has anyone ever asked you, hey, make we go on a date, girl?
I guess. I mean, it sounds like you could pick, choose, and refuse, and I mean, I've just been refusing. But I think overall, for me, it's probably time management. Like saying, okay, Mana is I could really good at this cool event on Friday, but I also have a deadline due on Friday. It's like, oh my goodness, I have to crunch it in. But I think for me, probably my expectations would be a little bit different, whereby I'm somebody that I like talk, and I know that people like talk sound very boring at times. And I know that plays into a relationship, but I think for me, I just, my expectations of being with someone is that they could keep up with what I'm saying and what my interests in life and so forth.
Definitely. I've had an experience with that where I'm the type of person where I can go without talking to you for like a solid 3-4 days and I wouldn't bat an eyelash. But there's people on the flip side who they need that constant communication. I think that's something that's very much interrupted in terms of college life and dating, because you want, as you said, to focus on college and do profoundly well, and sometimes that trumps everything else. It might even trump spending time with your family as well as spending time with your fellow partner. So it's like it's hard to find that balance and that in between where, okay, you try to make time for yourself, your family, for your schoolwork, as well as for an additional person, which is your partner. And I think an important part of that is you have to find someone who is willing to compromise, to understand that, okay, Marissa has homework that she has to do. I know not to, message her and be like, where are you? What are you doing? Oh, let's talk for 2 hours and however long. Because in the end, it's just long and time consuming.
I think that's very true. Are you in a relationship?
No.
Have you ever tried long distance relationship?
No.
No. Okay. Well, I mean, I think from personal experience, I guess it's really where your priorities lie, and I think like you rightfully said, finding, a common ground where you guys can compromise. But I think, being in a relationship at a certain age, you not only learn about someone, but you learn about yourself. Okay, we went on a date, or he did this, or mistakes were made. You learn more about yourself. I think that's the interesting part for me. Like today, I know that I don't like this. I know that I like this, and I think that's how I develop my own sense of morality and just self overall.
Yeah, your own sense of self and how you want your relationship to be. And I think a lot of what you said, your sense of self is affected by what we see on social media or what we see on media in general, this is what a perfect relationship is supposed to look like. No one really tells you that statistics wise, the hardest years of, dating is more than likely your first to second year in your relationship. As you rightfully said, you're getting to know each other, and it's even more profoundly difficult when you have to manage school as well as different aspects of your life and things that you're involved in. So it's just a matter of how much you want from your relationship and how much you're willing to give to it.
And I think too, we have to realize that what is portrayed in social media may sometimes not be, the reality of it. Sometimes social media sets certain expectations where it's really, we simply can't achieve it. And so, I think being caught up, in that social media trend, we're constantly saying, okay, Mara is, she got amazing hair, amazing figure, amazing skin, oh my goodness, look at their perfect relationship. Then it puts you into a state, okay, I need to achieve that.
Yeah, why can't we, me and my partner, be like that? Or, oh, if you see them FaceTiming every single day, why can't me and my partner do that? It's just that some people might not have the time. They have, like you said, other priorities, and that's just the reality of it.
But I think everybody's relationships is unique in its own way. So, what may work for you may not work for me. And I also think, something very important to, dating is actually loving yourself and respecting yourself and, being aware of, your desires and also, your limits to certain things.
Definitely. And I think an important part of dating on university is, learning to break out of your shell and find people who you wouldn't normally consider seeing yourself with. Maybe I'm a book smart person. I stay in the library 24/7. I don't really do much, but I fall in love with a popular sports athlete. It's just very contrasting, but it's also, again, a reality of something that could happen because university is not just different groups. It's a melting pot as much as what Belize is, and we have very much different cliques. We could say we're the Anthropology club clique. There's a, athletic club clique, and it's everyone interacting with each other, and that's where you could say some of the most beautiful, if you want, relationships blossom.
Have you ever been on a quote-unquote bad date?
Yeah, I have.
What was it like?
It was waiting there patiently for the ground to either swallow me or for the night to end. So it's like being thrown with someone you're completely opposite with, and that person was, the type to talk about themselves a lot. I'm the best at this. I'm the best at that. And they sounded very pompous, in other words. And what about you, Mar? Have you had a bad date?
Well, I don't know. That's a very good question. I guess my personality is very outgoing, so I could casually talk to you and what's not, and that comes naturally, and that's all fine. But in terms of dates, I don't want to say I've been to a lot of dates because I haven't, but I want to say that I think one big throw off that I'm when you potentially talk to somebody and then when you open them out, you just get a big throw off. Not because I'm breathtaking, but because intellectually, it's not there.
Yeah. We want to hear about your bad dating experience, so comment down below and tell us. Now, we asked a couple students around campus about their bad dating experiences, and this is what they had to say.
Okay, Raul, what do you think are the do's and don'ts in a relationship?
I think a big do for a relationship is communication, right? It's very important to hold communication with somebody, because and not walk away, because eventually those problems will come again. Pile up till everything breaks apart. And a common example of communication is, trying to walk away from something is not that good. Take for example this Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case. Johnny tried to walk away a lot of times, but Amber Heard took it in another way. So something trying to deal with your problems right then, right there. But if you have to take a breather to talk about something, that's the best thing to do. You don't want to act out on too much emotions. That's a don't. Acting out on lashing out with anger, lashing out with too much emotions is something that I think all couples should avoid. Anybody in a relationship avoid. Making a decision is something that is good. Talking about something that is good, but making it out of anger is something that is very, very difficult and very hard on a relationship to do.
Okay. Our next question is, what do you think is cheating?
Entertaining somebody else who's not in a relationship, for example, could be another girl. From my perspective, entertaining another girl, talking, flirting with someone, even through text. I consider that's me personally. I consider that as cheating, infidelity. That is something that is very, very difficult in a relationship, because the moment you lose trust with somebody, it's hard to regain trust. And just try to avoid it. There's always temptations around, and just the on point of entertaining somebody. I don't consider that cheating, but it's something that you should try to avoid at all costs.
Definitely. And lastly, describe your type.
My type, I'm big on personality and somebody who can tag along with me, right? I'm very spontaneous. I like to do a lot of different stuff. I like to be in nature. Just having somebody who's down to do whatever with you in what you love to do. I feel is my type. Just the willingness to do stuff that you love to do.
So Enya, I know you told us about your little bad experience in dating, but do you mind telling us more about how do you express your love for your partner? Say, your own unique love language.
I would definitely like to say that my love language is displays of affection. Whether it be through gifts or just simple little things that are done, it is really showing the appreciation that they have for you as a partner. So a simple text in the night, text in the day, how are you doing, is definitely well appreciated, especially if the day is going rough. And important days that may not be important to everyone, but definitely to me, and knowing that my partner knows them. Okay, I've gotten something for Valentine's. If it's just a tiny little flower and a I love you, it is the most wonderful thing. What about you, Mar? What do you think is your love language?
I'm someone very emotional, so I like hugs, and I like at least 3 hugs a day. It's a kind of embarrassing, but I also tend to do this gesture where okay, bye, and I have to kiss you. Not French kiss, just that little a little bird beak thing. It's weird, it's awkward, I know, but I appreciate it, right? But I mean, I totally agree with you. Tell me good morning. My body tell me good morning. But I mean to text you because hello, when my good morning there, I done vex. I'm petty, but it's just, I guess, like you rightfully said, thinking about that someone and showing that, special someone that, hey, I thought about you when I woke up. And you ever done gone on a date and then, it's okay, done eat, whatever, and then the bill come, who to pay?
Well, ideally, I'm always up for we both pay together, because I don't want it to be where we live in a patriarchal society. My man have to pay my bill. I independent. I could pay for myself. We could split the bill. Whatever is fine. But if he want to be super outgoing, no, give me the bill. Give it to me. I take it. Samar, what about you?
I don't know. I consider myself a feminist, but at the same time I'm not so feminist because I'm oh yeah, women empowerment, but then on the first date, or I think it's a part of the male's natural personality that they want to treat you, they want to feel good, they feel like a man, yeah. So I got it. I'm all right, cool, fine. You don't have to tell me twice.
So, with your perspective on that, how do you think about gender roles in a relationship?
Well, of course, I think it's about communication for me. And it's really about, allowing oneself to be themselves in a relationship. See, I like to think that I have a very strong personality, and like I had mentioned before, I like to think of myself as a feminist. But being in a relationship, I think my views on that completely changed, because at the end of the day, I want to feel protected. I want someone to, take care of me. Like, I like that traditional viewpoint on things. And so I think gender roles today are definitely changing, especially with women, now being more educated and being employed these days. I think really it's about respect, and giving each other room, to lead in a relationship. But I think overall, there needs to be an understanding, so that there isn't like a power struggle.
Yeah, that's definitely what I believe in, that level of, equality. You want both of you to understand where you are on different levels. Like, for example, your partner wants to buy something, but, they don't have enough money. You should feel okay in a relationship that I will give my partner, because, it's not whether he's supposed to be the one with all the money and I'm supposed to just stand by and look pretty. You can help your partner, and that's how a relationship grows, and I believe how it flourishes towards definitely something that is, both of you have concepts of what you want and what ideally you want out of this relationship, and that can maybe move forward into something greater.
So Enya, I know we just spoke about, what we expect in a relationship, what do we like in a relationships, and our different viewpoints on certain issues. But let's talk about red flags, and really, like, what are some red flags for you?
Red flags. Definitely observing a male, not, being with them like right there, but observing their behavior when they are not with you is firstly something I look at closely. And definitely a red flag is seeing that, okay, if they're a drinker, how do they behave when they're drink? If they're very aggressive, that is a huge red flag for me. I don't want, when I see my partner at the end of the night, after he's had, of course, a good time with his friends, he becomes aggressive towards me because, oh, why aren't you kissing me? Oh, why aren't you being loving? It's like, no, calm down. And I think another red flag would be males who, personally for me, have a lot of female friends. It's not something I would say I'm very comfortable with unless we have spoken about it and drawn boundaries. That is definitely one thing I believe in. Boundaries. You have to know where it lies between friend and where someone is obviously stepping over the line and disrespecting you as your partner. And what about you, Mar? What are some red flags you think you wouldn't allow?
For me, I think it's pretty much simple. Basic hygiene. You brush your teeth. Are you wearing the same clothes? Or also, I think probably a big red flag for me would probably be, noticing how he treats other individuals, in the community, especially his parents. I think that for me would, be a red flag. I don't think any girl, appreciates a partner who, isn't a gentleman, to say. I think we all like those, acts of chivalry.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh, red flag, red flag. Males who are infamous. That's definitely something I would say, look into before even considering, dating or a relationship. If they have an infamous track record, it's
like bad
something
boy?
of like a deterrent. You don't even want to, okay, I don't want to talk to him because he date lot of gal.
But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of girls like bad boy, and like, I don't know, there's a hype in that. I don't know, I'm assuming that certain, girls, like these bad
That
boy
type, yeah.
vibes, and I guess the hype with it.
The hype with it, but I think for me it's also being and knowing, a very important part of college life, we're adults at this point, is sexual health. You don't want to be with someone who has had an you may know personally an infamous track record, because as college students, we hardly would say that we want to, actively go out and get tested and make sure that we are, practicing safe measures to keep ourselves safe. And you don't know if that person is practicing the same thing that you practice and firmly believe in. So that is something I believe is very stringent and should be changed within our university aspect. We want to make these things, an active lifestyle choice, that you choose to be healthy about your body, you choose to respect your partner and their sexual health, and you also in universities that encourage this as well is definitely for the better in Belize, for sure.
And I think another, to add to that, another important aspect is counseling and mental health. I don't think it should be so taboo whereby, getting counseling for being in a relationship is such a bad idea. Sometimes we struggle with our own personal issues, when growing up, and we tend to kind of, once being in a relationship, we tend to find
someone to
fill that void, when it's something that it should be on a personal level. And so I think counseling definitely, should be encouraged and advocated for, while being in a relationship for both yourself and your partner. So guys, it was really fun spending time here with you. A shout out to our Facebook viewers, our YouTube viewers, and of course to my co-host, Vice President Enya Lizama. Thank you for catching us on this episode 3 of Galen Eagle Podcast Students Summer Series.
Catch us on Thursdays.
Same time,
same place.